إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا فمن يهد الله فلا هادي له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون أما بعد بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We begin today's khutbah in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send blessing and salawat upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. Surah Al-Maun, one of the final surahs in the Holy Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down to us. It is a surah that most of us, if not all of us, have memorized. And as a matter of fact, we probably don't even remember when we memorized it. We just know that it's committed to our memory, that it's a surah that's in our hearts, that we recite on a weekly, maybe even daily basis. Now what I want to do today is just have a brief discussion on the surah so that when we do recite it, we can learn from its wisdom, its guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has facilitated through us, for us, so that we can implement it in our life. Now it's a surah that was revealed at the time of Mecca. Generally, among the scholars, they agree that it was revealed in Mecca, and this was towards the leaders of Quraysh, the corrupt leaders of Quraysh. But what we'll see is, as we discuss the surah, and as the Quran is in general, that the Quran is timeless. So the beauty of it is that it can be implemented from 1400 years ago up until now, to our personal lives, to the community, from the leaders to everyone, inshallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins the surah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. Have you seen the one who rejects ad-deen, who rejects the day of recompense? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts off the surah saying, Ara'aita. Now in classical Arabic and the time of the Quran, when this word is used, Ara'aita, it sparks amazement. It's supposed to spark a shock in your heart. It's supposed to spark curiosity. Who can possibly be this person who rejects the day of recompense? So when you say the surah, it's something we're asking about. Who can this despicable person be who rejects the last day, who rejects the day of recompense? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word yukadhibu. Ara'ayta alladhi yukadhibu bid-deen. And this word comes from kadhaba yukadhibu takdhiban. And this does not just mean disbelief. This is someone who rejects the truth, who rejects the last day. And it's a continuous verb that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses in this surah. رَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُ الْيَتِيمِ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. What does this mean? It means that it's not just a one-time rejection. These people are constantly rejecting what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us, the day that we will be accounted for our deeds, a day that we will be accounted for every single thing that we've done on this earth. Now, the word used in the surah is ad-deen. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ. And commonly in today's world, we understand deen to be Islam in general, Islam as a whole. It is the belief in the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, believe in the messengers, believe in the books sent down by Azza wa Jal, believe that we have to fast, that we have to pray our salah, and all of the above when it comes to Islam. However, scholars do agree that ad-deen in this case refers to the day of recompense, which is a day that we will be suffering the consequences or rewards of what we did on today's world. And even before Islam, the word deen had to do with you would be dealt with in the manner that you dealt with others. So subhanAllah, imagine someone who rejects that one day they won't be accountable for this sort of thing. The example I like to use is, imagine a man who doesn't have much money, he lives in a small home, but he lives across the street from a bank. And he has the bank mapped out perfectly. He has the code for the vault. He knows where the money is. So one day he decides, you know what? I think I can get this money without any consequence. So he goes into the bank, he walks into the bank, and he grabs the money. But lo and behold, they catch him and they throw him in jail. And now what is going to happen? He's going to have to stand in front of a judge. He's going to probably get locked up. They have eyewitnesses against him. They have security cameras against him. There's really no way out for this man who just blindly walked into the bank. Why? Because he thought there was no consequence for his actions. And subhanAllah, many people who live on this earth, past, present, and future, who think that their life, their deeds on this world, there's not going to be consequences. And subhanAllah, Allah uses strong words in the surah for those who reject the day of recompense, the day of judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from this. May He allow us to increase in our knowledge of ad-deen, increase in our taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now the rest of the surah is tied with this first ayah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that anyone who rejects the day of recompense are these people. And the following ayat are these people who rejected. So I want you to keep that in mind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. Moreover, that is the one who pushes away the orphan. SubhanAllah, right after disbelief in the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about pushing away the orphan. He ties that with that person who rejects the orphan. SubhanAllah, Allah, many times in the Quran, He raises the status of the orphan. We see it in ahadith, we see it in the Quran, we hear it, but do we act upon it? Are we one of those people who reject the orphan? We have to be mindful of this. We don't want to be one of these people, because it's the first person Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about right after talking about rejection of Yawm al-Qiyamah, of the last day. Now, the orphan, who is the orphan? The orphan is someone who needs our support. They have the least support in society. They don't have that close family. They don't have that parent to take care of them, to watch them over. Some of us may have lost our parent in our lives, even as adults. Think of the hardship that we went through losing that parent. Now imagine losing that parent as a child and having to go through life without that support. SubhanAllah, there's so many orphans out there we don't even realize. And how many times do we sit down and we think about how often, what can I do to help the orphans in need? There's so many opportunities out there to help orphans. There's organizations, there's clubs, there's schools, there's so many efforts. As a matter of fact, a couple of our South Florida MSAs went to visit a children's home in Miami, where there were either children who were away from their family or they were indeed orphans. And subhanAllah, all they did was spend time with these children and donate towards their food, their clothing, their shelter. And the Prophet ﷺ, the greatest man to ever walk this earth, he himself was an orphan. So who are we to push away the orphan? The surah was revealed to the leaders of Quraysh. What would they do? They would just be amongst their brethren and their kinsfolk and their peers in their worldly affairs. They don't care about the orphan. There's a story about Abu Sufyan before he accepted Islam, where he had slaughtered 2 camels. And him and his peers, they were enjoying the meat of this camel. And an orphan approached him and just requested a small bit of food. You know, they don't have much support, they don't have much food, but they pushed him away. SubhanAllah, may Allah protect us from this. a Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us that the one who supports and protects the orphan will be like this with me on the day of judgment. And he put up his index finger and his middle finger. SubhanAllah, we have the opportunity to be close to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and yet we neglect these things. We only think of orphans when a banquet comes up and someone is fundraising. But it's something we should consistently think about, because our Prophet ﷺ taught us this, the Quran taught us this, and in this surah it's telling us that if we push away the orphan, then we may be people who disbelieve in the last day, and we don't want to be one of those people, because we do believe that there is a last day, and we will be accounted for everything that we do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. And this person doesn't encourage the feeding of the needy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us about the one who rejects the last day. Then He talks about the orphan. Next up, He talks about the person who doesn't encourage feeding of the poor. And what's interesting here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَحُدُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. This is someone who doesn't encourage feeding of the poor. Not only do they not feed the needy, they don't even encourage it. And why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying this? Imagine our leaders today, or the leaders of the Quraysh. This surah came down, and Abu Lahab, he was one of the leaders of Quraysh, and he was in charge of the monies and the treasures of Mecca. Imagine him coming to you guys and saying, make sure you guys give back to the needy. Make sure you help the orphan. What are they going to think? What are they going to do when they look at him? They're going to say, oh yeah, Abu Lahab, what about you? Don't you have to give? SubhanAllah, these leaders, these corrupt leaders, they don't even encourage it, because the mirror will reflect upon them to do the same. May Allah protect us from this, and may Allah open our hearts and soften our hearts to give back to those in need. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word al-miskeen in this. Now, it comes from the word sakana, which means to be stuck in a sense. So these are people who are stuck in this situation. So they need our help. They need our support. We need to be there for them. Otherwise, we may be in danger of what? Of being someone who rejects the day of recompense. Being someone who rejects the fact that we will one day be accountable for our deeds. May Allah save us from this. May Allah allow us to be Muslims who are involved in our civic duties in the community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين. Woe to the one who prays. The worst destruction is for the one who prays. But wait, hold on. I pray, you pray, my family prays. What does that mean? This is a classic example of not just taking one ayah and try to just study it on its own. You have to take it into context. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues and says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. They are the ones who, with their salah, they are heedless. They're neglectful. They're forgetful of their salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes from the orphan to not feeding the needy, and now talking about salah. This is a direct connection with us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's no longer talking about us and other people. So He's making a direct connection here. And we as people, we have to take salah as a priority in our life. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they took salah important. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was telling them about Dajjal, he told them that Dajjal will be on earth, the greatest fitna to come on this earth. He'll be here for 40 days. First day will be like a year. The next day will be like a month. The remaining days will be like normal days. They said, Ya Rasulullah, What about our salah? The first thing they thought of was their salah. What about us? What would we think of? Would we think about our salah? Probably think, oh, what about making money and providing for my family? What about my spouse? What about my children? When am I going to play sports and watch TV? No, the Sahaba, salah was important to them. And what's scary about this ayah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to the one who prays. He says, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. The word wail is used. And this word wail is a word that talks about the worst of destruction. وَيْلٌ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. These are people who are stingy in their lives, who don't give back to others. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the worst of destruction is for them. Now imagine the one who doesn't even pray. These are people who are heedless in their prayer and don't forget. What about the ones who pray? May Allah allow us to be of those who take the importance of salah seriously. And may He allow us to take steps of making salah a priority in our lives. Schedule your day around salah as opposed to the opposite. When you do that, I promise you that salah will make your life easier. Everything will start falling into place. Your life and work and school and studying, everything will become smoother because everything is geared around salah and the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one interesting fact about the word wail, some scholars say that wail is not just destruction, but it's a certain place in Jahannam, where even Jahannam is afraid of this place. Subhanallah. May Allah protect us from this. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ. Those are the ones who make show of their deeds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He starts the surah talking about the one who rejects the last day. Then He talks about the one who pushes away the orphan. Then He talks about the one who does not encourage the feeding of the needy. Then He talks about salah. What does He talk about next? Sincerity in our deeds. Those who make show of our deeds. The Prophet ﷺ, he told the Sahaba that the one thing he fears most for his ummah is the minor shirk. The Sahaba asked him, Ya Rasulullah, what is minor shirk? He ﷺ says, the one who stands up for salah and beautifies it because of the people. SubhanAllah, may Allah protect us from this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that if we combine intention for Allah and some other cause, then know that Allah doesn't need those deeds from you, and you will be rejected. So this is the thing that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ feared from us. So when we do good deeds, when we pray our salah, when we give, make sure that in our hearts that is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're in a fundraiser and you're giving funds, don't do it because people are going to see how much you're giving. If you want, you can do it to encourage others, but not because they're going to look up to you for giving. Make sure you give it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is another thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us of, the people who reject a day where we will be accountable for our deeds. And may Allah protect us from this, and may He allow us to be sincere in our deeds. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. And they even stop the smallest acts of kindness. Surah, the last ayah, talks about ma'un. What is ma'un? Scholars consider this the smallest of things. The smallest of things you can give away, and it won't even hurt you, wouldn't even affect you. And there are people out there, imagine there are people out there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is linking this to disbelief in the last day. There are people out there who don't even give these things away. Imagine someone coming to my home, knocking on my door. Brother Fazeer, can I borrow some salt? No, get away from here. No salt for you. What is salt? Or I'm taking an exam in school and I'm prepared. I have my pencils. And my friend next to me, he wants a pencil, but I tell him, you should have come prepared. You don't need a pencil from me. SubhanAllah, these people are not even
worthy of giving ma'un. May Allah protect us from this. May He allow us to open our hearts to give back to others. This surah encompasses our religion. It's a comprehensive overview of how we should live our life. It's not just mu'amalat, it's not just good deeds, but it's about giving back to others. It's about worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And very importantly, it's about having a soft heart. Each of these people mentioned in the surah, they have the hardest of hearts. And this is something we should strive to not be a part of. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us who these people are, so we make the intention of not being these people. We don't want to be someone who rejects the last day. We don't want to be someone who pushes the orphan away. As a matter of fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word وَلَا يَحُدُّ عَلَىٰ طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. Yahuddu comes from the word hadda. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually uses this word to describe the people who will be pushed into Jahannam. Subhanallah. Imagine someone who's pushing an orphan away, and then one day you will be pushed into Jahannam because of what you did. May Allah protect us from us, and may He open our eyes to see that there are people out there who are in need of us, who are in need of our help, who have rights to us. How do they have rights to us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ta'amul miskin. When we talked about the needy, He doesn't say ya ta'amul miskin. He doesn't say feed the poor. He says ta'amul miskin, which means it's the food of the poor. It's theirs. It's for them. We have rights. They have rights over us for them to give back to them. SubhanAllah. It's amazing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses these words so precisely in the Quran, all throughout the Quran. It's important for us to study what's in the Quran and implement it in our lives. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. And if there's one thing in Surah Al-Maun that I want you to walk away with today, is that being Muslim, being a part of Islam, is two things. Is rights of the Creator and rights of the creation. It's not just one or the other. And we have to keep in mind of this, because we don't want to be one of those people who fall into the extremes. We don't want to be that person who prays all of their salah, doesn't miss their salah, stays for dhikr, always in the masjid by themselves, and yet they're neglectful of others. They push people away. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the surah? They push the orphan away. They disencourage the feeding of the poor. These people are praying, and yet they're stingy with their wealth. They're stingy with the things they own. May Allah protect us from this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also talks about salah, Allah Himself. This is the connection between us and Allah. And Allah has rights over us, of course, obviously. So we have to take heed that these are more than just one or the other. We can't be someone who's always giving, who says, oh, I'm a nice person, it's okay, I'll be okay at the end of the day. No, that's not the case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in the surah that we need both. We can't just blindly give our money and help others all the time, and yet we neglect the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala azza wa jal. We must have both. And the surah is teaching us a very valuable principle. And what's beautiful about this surah is that it can really open up our heart, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us specific people that we can help. The orphan who many of us, probably most of us, neglect. Because we don't think about the orphan regularly. We don't think about the poor person regularly. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, this is a surah that we recite on a daily basis. We've known since we were children. And the makeup of the surah is beautiful because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is intertwining the two things. He starts off with talking about the last day, believing in the last day. Then he talks about giving to the orphan and the poor. Then he goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our worship, in our deeds. And then he goes back to something that's both our sincerity and our deeds, because it involves possibly the people watching over us, possibly doing it for other people, and yet our intention should be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a matter of fact, someone came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one time, and he asked him, what if I do a good deed for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then I get praise afterwards, and it makes me feel good, it makes me feel happy? What do? You continue doing the good deed, but you keep the intention that is for Allah Azza wa Jalla subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you continue doing these deeds, but you continuously renew your intention in your deeds. That way our hearts will stay soft, will remain soft. Now it's a beautiful surah, and we should try to implement it in our lives. So if you have not memorized this surah, please try to memorize it. It wouldn't take you long. It's only 7 ayat, but it's so comprehensive. And it goes back and forth between Allah and the people, and then sincerity in what we do. And it's something that we can implement in our life. And basically, if you're good to Allah, you must be good to people. And if you're good to people, then you must be good to Allah. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, nastaghfiruk wa natubu ilayk. Now when we pray our salah, let's make sure we have the khushu' in our salah. Let's not be heedless. Let's be mindful that we're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may He reward us for our intentions and for our efforts behind it.
And
Well, qim as-salah.